So I'm not at home right now, as you can tell. I just had the hardest time ever trying to find a decent background for you guys. So there's been a change in plans. I am not going to be, sorry for the lighting too. It looks terrible right now. But I'm not going to be doing the skit tomorrow. Instead, I had this really cool idea where I'm actually going to be doing a life hack video that are completely pointless and have absolutely no meaning to you guys whatsoever, and you will never find a chance in life to ever use this unless you just so happen to have this specific job at this specific place. Anyway, so let's just get right into the video. Today's video is going to be a story time about my last trip to California. It's really funny because I spent like the past couple days preparing for this California trip, and I was like packing, getting ready, whatever. And so I'd gotten packed, got ready, cleaned my room, like deep cleaned my room and everything. And mind you, for like a couple months before this even happened, my cat had just randomly gotten fleas. Just randomly, you know. And I'm not like a big, I don't really like have any issues with fleas when it comes to getting rid of them or anything. Like, Nova gets fleas, big whoop, I can get rid of them in 2 days usually. This time it's like these fleas just wouldn't go away. Like, I tried the borax and salt trick, I tried flea medication, I tried dousing her in coconut oil, I bought all sorts of different products to get rid of these fleas, and they just wouldn't go away. And mind you, I had just moved up to Oregon less than a year ago. It's probably been about 6 months right now. And I'm sitting here thinking, does Oregon have like different kinds of fleas than California? Like, are these like some sort of super flea that like just don't die? I had tried this borax and salt trick a couple days before I left for California, and my roommates were gonna be taking care of my cat. It seemed to have worked, but not fully and completely. It comes the day that I'm leaving for California, and I'm like in my room. It's like super early, like 4 a.m. or something. I had pulled an all-nighter because I'm traveling. I can sleep all day on the plane, on the bus, whatever. I'm gathering all of my stuff, doing my last minute things, cleaning out Nova's litter box and all of that, and I go to pick up the rug that the litter box is sitting on so that litter doesn't get everywhere because she tends to scoop it out of the litter box. There is a mouse underneath the rug, and I didn't have like time to be able to chase this mouse, you know, and take it out of my house. And I'm like, what's going on, you know? Like, why is there a mouse in here? My cat's not an outside cat. She couldn't have possibly brought this mouse into my house. I'm like, okay, whatever, and I leave. And I go down to the Greyhound bus station downtown to get on the bus to ride up to Portland, because getting on the plane at PDX. Get down to the bus station probably about 45 minutes beforehand. They really only want you to arrive about 20 minutes beforehand. They don't even open the bus station for the arriving passengers until 10 minutes before 6 o'clock, and my bus was leaving at 6:10, right? So, okay, whatever. I'm outside smoking my e-cig. The lady comes and she tells all the people waiting for the 6:10 bus to Portland that the bus is late. Now, it's not just late, it is extremely late. It is an hour and a half late. I personally am like, okay, whatever. I had chosen a way later flight in case something like this happens. So I'm good, right? But she has to help tons of other people out in somehow getting them a different bus up to Portland, because they have to be at certain places at certain times and they didn't plan ahead and whatever, because that's what people do. We're human, we make mistakes. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I'm just hanging out downtown. It's like super early, and I'm not gonna be, getting on the bus until 7:40 at this point. The bus finally comes. I get on the bus, I say my goodbyes to my hometown. My hometown isn't my hometown, but I say goodbye to my town, and we're on our way up to Portland. I'm tired, and I fall asleep on the bus. There's not that many people on the bus, so I kind of spread out between the two seats that there are, and the seats on a bus are a lot bigger than the seats on a plane, right? So it's like, if I really wanted to get any good sleep whatsoever that day, that was my chance to do it. So that's what I did, and I leaned up against the window, spread out my legs, fell asleep, whatever. And I'm dreaming that the bus is getting hijacked. We're getting shot up on the bus. It was a scary dream, and I was freaking out in my dream. And the next thing I know, I'm being woken up to what sounds like somebody saying, "Don't hurt him, Jesse. Jesse, don't hurt him. Don't hurt him, Jesse. Jesse, don't hurt him." And I shoot up and look towards where this voice is coming from. He's still saying and it's not even loud. It's just, I'm a light sleeper. And so I look towards the back, and he's like, "Don't hurt him, Jesse. Don't hurt him, Jesse. Jesse, don't hurt him. Don't hurt him, Jesse." I look, and there's this guy, I don't even know, don't get me wrong when I describe these people, because I'm literally just describing what I could see, and I'm not trying to be racist or anything whatsoever, so I'm just putting that out there. But there's this guy, gangster dude, has this other gangster white kid in a chokehold, and then there's this homeless looking man who is telling Jesse, gangster dude who has gangster kid in a chokehold, telling Jesse to not hurt him. And I'm just like, what is going on? I have no idea. So I scream towards the front, because the bus driver obviously does not hear this. And I scream towards the front, and all of the people in the back are trying to get his attention too. And I'm like, "Bus driver, something's happening." And I'm screaming this because the bus driver obviously could not hear. And he starts to pull over. We're on the freeway, and we haven't even been driving for about 45 minutes at this point. We're in Albany or something, and we're not even close to Portland. The bus driver finally pulls over and everything, and Jesse gets up and starts forcing gangster white kid off the bus. Still has gangster white kid in a chokehold. And gangster white kid is looking around going, "Why do I have to get off the bus? I shouldn't have to get off the bus. Why do I have to get off the bus?" Him and homeless dude and Jesse get off the bus. And bus driver closes the doors and turns around to us and goes, "What's happening, guys? What happened? I have no idea what's going on." This girl, thank God for her, she took a hold of the entire matter, and she turns to, the bus driver and is like, "You should let that kid back on the bus. He didn't do anything." And he did, and little gangster white kid looks at him and goes, "You know what? F you, driver. F you for making me get off the bus. I shouldn't have had to get off the bus. I didn't do anything." "I'm sorry. I had no idea what was going on. I just needed the matter to stop right then and there." "You know what? I don't care. I didn't do anything. I'm definitely reporting this to." And the bus driver's just trying to be kind, and he's just obviously angry and has adrenaline pumping through him, So somebody calls the cops. So the bus is now sitting on the side of the road for another 25 to 45 minutes, an hour, whatever, while we wait for the cops to come and talk to everybody who saw anything. And at this point, it's maybe 8 a.m. or something. I should have arrived in Portland by 9 if the bus left on time and this didn't happen, but I didn't. So I still had to ride the Max all the way to the airport once I got off the bus from the Greyhound. The police come and they talk to everybody, and little gangster white kid gets back on the bus, and homeless dude ends up leaving in the cop car, and dude ends up getting arrested. And I guess homeless dude, who didn't have any shoes, by the way, so maybe he was shoeless dude, I don't know, he ends up going to the hospital for some reason. I can't remember what the bus driver said, but he said that homeless dude was going to the hospital, saying that gangster dude was getting arrested because of grabbing little white gangster dude in a chokehold. So off we go up to Portland again. Bus driver asks if anybody has any stops. Once we get to, the Albany bus station, he turns around and asks everybody if we have any more stops up to Portland, and nobody raises their hand, so we're just going straight to Portland at this point. We're not going to stop anywhere else on the way up there. And we get to Portland, it's 11 at this point. It's like 2 hours past the time I was supposed to arrive, maybe 2.5 hours, I don't know. So I'm just like, okay, so I just got to figure out where I'm going to be able to get on the Max. The Max is a train, by the way. Kind of like a bus, but it's a train that kind of, rides down the streets of Portland or whatever. And I figure out where I'm supposed to go, get on the Max, transfer Max trains, and then I finally make it to the airport. I'm like, okay, good. Finally, I can, get checked in and get my bags checked and finally get on this plane. And I'm like freaking out the entire time I'm going through the checking because it's, past 2 hours before I'm supposed to be getting on the plane. And typically, I personally like to arrive at the airport 4 hours early in case things happen so that I can for sure not miss my flight. Luckily though, my plane was late. I'm like, oh, thank God. And it was crazy because I chose a layover in San Francisco, and I don't travel very often. I'm hoping to be able to travel a lot more. It's everybody's aspiration to travel, But I'm thinking when I'm picking my flight that an hour layover is gonna be fine and give me more than enough time to find my gate, because San Francisco, if I remembered correctly, is easy to navigate. I get on the plane and the flight attendants are calling over the intercom, the loudspeakers.
So we're realizing that over 40% of this flight is going to Hawaii, and we're late, and the flight to Hawaii is leaving before we're going to even arrive. So we've contacted the Hawaii flight, and they're going to wait for us. They're going to move their gate to right next to where we're going to be landing, and if anybody has the Christmas spirit, can you wait for the Hawaii flight people to get off first, and then you can go to your flight?
No, because I have less than 15 minutes to get off this flight, go pee, and make it to my gate and be able to find where my gate is at this point, because it doesn't even say on my ticket. I don't know what their issue is, but they don't put what your gate is to the second flight on the ticket because San Francisco doesn't work like that for some reason. And I'm just I don't even know where my flight is, and I have to pee like no other, and we're already descending, and I can't get up and go to the bathroom when we're descending. So I'm like, you know what? No, I'm not letting the Hawaii people off. I'm getting up, and I am getting off this flight. And I get off, and luckily there's those screens that tell you what flight goes where and what gate your flight is leaving from and all of that right there when I get off, and I'm like, thank God. So I look at the thing, and my gate is literally on the other side of the airport. And I'm like, I have to pee. I have to go so bad at this point. I have to go so bad. So I'm like, okay, you know what? If there's a bathroom on the way to the gate, I am not hesitating to stop. I might not have time to wash my hands, but I gotta go. So I find the bathroom, and I go to the bathroom, and I get out, and I start rushing towards my gate, and I get there, and there's no one there. I'm like, oh God, did I miss my flight? Am I early or something? I don't know. So I walk up to, the person manning the gate, and they're like, oh no, you're right on time. We just boarded everybody. We were still calling people, and you can get on. I'm like, thank God. I literally made it just in time. They were literally about to close the doors and not let people on. I would have been stranded in San Francisco. But no, I made it, and I get on the flight, and I finally make it back to Orange County after a long day, and the first thing I did when I finally arrived home was take the longest nap of my entire life. And like, the best thing is the flight back was a lot nicer. The first plane was huge, there were a lot less people on it. I had nobody next to me, so I could spread out across 3 different seats and sleep. And it was just ultimately nice. So anyway, fast forward to past my vacation in California. I'm back in Oregon now, and it's New Year's Eve, and I'm just planning on, hanging out at home. I have like a confetti popper, and I have myself some sparkling wine, and I was just gonna watch the ball drop on my tablet, celebrate 2018, and hang out in my onesies or whatever. But my roommate invited me to come hang out and play Cards Against Humanity and get drunk with them. So that's what I did. At some point in the night, my roommate comes up to me and she goes,
I wanted to ask you if you've noticed anything strange going.
I'm like, what do you mean? And she goes,
Well, my daughter was complaining about hearing noises in the walls, like almost like scratching, like mom, it's happening again.
And I look at her and I go, do we have a mouse infestation? And she goes, I don't know. And I said, I've been meaning to tell you, and I completely forgot because this happened the day that I was leaving, but I found a mouse in my room. And she goes,
Then we have a mouse infestation.
And I'm like, that explains these fleas that won't die. These fleas won't die because we are infested with mice. So not only do we have a mouse infestation, but we have a flea infestation. Great, right? These fleas they won't die because that would mean that I would have to treat all the mice with flea medication. And obviously I'm not going to do that, and I won't even know where to start or what mouse I've already treated, whatever. I would rather just get rid of them, But I swear to God, you guys, mice are following me. Because I was at work yesterday, and the next thing I know, I'm just packaging or whatever. It's a hard couple days at work. I work in a bakery. And it was a hard couple days at work because the AM retail person had called out the past couple of days. So I was essentially doing 2 jobs at once. My coworker, I guess I can just use his real name. It's not like I'm telling any weird stories about him or anything in the future because we don't really hang out. Anyway, so Jeremiah comes up to me. And he's not really coming up to me, but he's coming over to the bakery. And Jeremiah essentially works the salad cooler. Okay, so I work in a bakery and a grocery store, so we don't just randomly have a salad cooler in a random bakery anywhere, but yeah, so that's where a salad cooler comes from. He works in the salad cooler department and he works in the pizza department. So there's really no reason for him to be coming over to the bakery whatsoever, but he came over to the bakery just randomly, and I'm like, okay, is he just grabbing trash bags? What is he doing? He's not looking in the right spots for trash bags, and he's just looking under random things. And I'm like, can I help you with anything, Jeremiah? And he's like,
no, not really.
And I'm like, what are you looking for? And he goes, and I'm like, what? Huh? What'd you say?
Mice.
What do you mean mice? Did you see a mouse? And he goes, no.
I didn't see a mouse, but I definitely found mouse poop.
Guys, not only is my house infested with mice, but my store is. My store is infested with mice, and there is a reason I am not putting up where I work right now, because there are a lot of people out there who are going to be like, oh God, that place is infested with mice. What if they have diseases, whatever? We're not going to shop there anymore, I can assure you, now that the store company, the higher up people know that the store is infested with mice, these mice are going to be gone within a week. We're going to hire the right people and they're going to be gone. But the whole point of my story is that these things are following me. And normally, I love mice. I think they are the cutest things in the entire world, but I swear to God, after this is all over and done with, I will never ever want to have a mouse as a pet ever again. So that concludes my story today, you guys. If you haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below if you're excited for the story my video that's going to come tomorrow. It's going to be solely for entertainment, so I'm pretty excited about it. And let me know if you're excited about it too. Take a bite out of that moon and become a Crescent. Become a member of the Crescent family. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.